I do not know. But the little I know is that to fill up the posts, we have 36 states. And even the indigenes of the Federal Capital Territory also insisting that they should also have a slot. I don't know the position of lawyers on this matter, but I know that fairness demands that each of the 36 federations should have a slot. And if you are going to have such a slot, somebody might also come on the petroleum ministry.
Each of the 36 states, according to the Constitution, must be represented in the federal cabinet.
Yes.
Now, well, you said they are gossip terrorists. Is it the gossip terrorists that were touting that rumor about reducing the ministries to just 19, or having just 19 ministers and possibly 17 ministers of state, just so as to reduce cost?
In fact, we also have heard that there will be no ministers of state.
No, what I'm saying is that I rely on some prominent media organizations like Radio Nigeria, the NTA channels, the IT and others, that I feel that the news editor in channels cannot reel out names without verification. So for God's sake, the National Assembly might be convened next week. I do not know the exact date. Because what President Buhari told us is that let's get the National Assembly in place, since they are going to confirm those appointed. Why fly the names before then?
Let's attempt a look at the individuals. Let's leave the numbers now. Let's look at the individuals that are likely to come forth. We've talked about him consulting with the governors, and then he has said the governors should give the best, whatever the case may be. But let's look at the kind of individuals that should be part of this team. What kind of individuals should be part of it? Let me take you to Ayodeji. The kind of individuals that should be part of this team. Let's take one person, for instance, maybe a particular ministry that you're conversant with. Say, okay, Ministry of Finance, or Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Development, Ministry of Tourism. Which ministry would you look at, and who do you think should be the kind of person that should be there?
In all fairness, there are several criteria that will be considered before anybody will in any ministry. In as much as he or she might have the finance background, or probably is a legal practitioner, is a lawyer, that does not mean he will be suitable to be the Attorney General. So what I will say is, what will be considered should be the pedigree and the interests the individual have shown in the last few years. You might be, probably your background is, you read agriculture, but probably in the last 7-8 years, you've been doing sports analysis, you have a football team, you've been managing sports. So definitely you've been going to sport administration. So such people will be good to be the Minister of Sports. I strongly believe that people that should be there, we should put a square peg in a square hole and a round peg in a round hole, so that there will not be any problem. Let's put people that have been tested 5 years ago in the same field. They've proven their worth. People have seen what they could deliver. Then they're going to manage and or administer a bigger portfolio, because they've done it at a smaller medium.
I think you are skirting the issue.
Okay.
But there is a name that has been touted around. Let's use a specific name.
Okay.
Ex-Governor Fashola.
For
his name has gone around as maybe they will make him Minister of Justice.
That's also okay.
At least Nigerians want to see him in the center because of the work that he has done. So, as you say, because of his pedigree. He's a man who believes in performance. I mean, I've got to do the job at hand.
And it must be done.
What is your comment about that particular person?
The way I see Mr. Babatunde Fashola is, for what he has done in Lagos, he's done credibly well. And if he's given a task or he's given another mandate, I sincerely believe he will perform, or he will be forced to perform. Because just like as a student, if you've gone to school and you are given a task, if you have, let me say, someone that has the first class, and you are given a task, even if you don't know it, you try as much as possible to scan, get information from the internet, talk to people, because a lot is expected of you. Because Fashola has performed creditably well in Lagos, and if he's given to man the portfolio as the Minister of Justice, he doesn't have any other choice than to perform, because he has set a standard, and at least that benchmark must either be surpassed or be met.
Mr. Kechu.
Let me come from a different angle. A lot of people seem to go out of their way to name names. I don't have anything against names. And President Muhammad Buhari is not going to go to heaven to tell God to give us our ancestors to become ministers. So he's going to choose from there. But a lot of people forget that there's also a raging ideological issue that is not so pronounced within the APC and even in the PDP. There are those who sincerely believe that the Niger state cannot grow if the government has anything to do with business, that it must privatize everything. It must outsource governance as much as you can. And there are also those who believe sincerely that somebody like President Muhammad Buhari, the state can do better in controlling its affairs, because that we have heard of this private sector and yet there's gross unemployment. We have heard of those who actually are rent seekers, who call themselves captains of industry without a factory. That if we go by that way, we might also be loaded with those who use the state enterprise. Remember, there is an organization called AMCON, whose basic business is to warehouse public funds and fund private sector, sometimes without query. And they say that's growth. They say that about 20-something banks are existing and they are healthy. Why in actual fact they are not? So a lot of people are trying to impose their own ideology or philosophical bent on President Muhammad Buhari. He's a pro-people. He believes that if the head of a ministry is sincere enough, he has enough time to oversee what is going on under his watch. And I think his mind might go along that line to have a mixture, not to throw Nigeria to the so-called captains of industry who have no factory.
Mr. Kechuku, we're almost out of time. We asked you a question earlier, which you did not answer, but as we wind down now, can you just answer that question? Is the president likely to look beyond the APC for ministers, members of his cabinet?
Definitely. He must know whether there are better people outside our ranks. And if he can get enough within our ranks, so be it.
Well, so the president has said we should wait for the National Assembly to resume, because they are the ones going to actually confirm these appointments. So we're looking that in the next 10 days, we will get our ministers. Am I correct?
Definitely.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've been chatting with Mr. Kechuku, Mr. Osita Kechuku, an All Progressive Congress chieftain, as well as Mr. Tony Dania, Mr. Ayodeji Onibogi, who's a social commentator. Sunrise will return in just a moment. Please stay with us.